All right, I'm at a conundrum today, everybody. I'm at a conundrum because I don't know what to do with this Nikola Jovic thing anymore. I really don't. I am smitten. I don't want him to go. I don't think he can be on the trade table anymore. I think that Joe Cronin, if he were to ask for Nikola Jovic, I would tell him to go straight to hell. And I don't think I'd feel bad about it because what I woke up to this morning with the Heat Serbian sensation going out there and being perfect from the floor. I don't know how many more of these performances I can watch of this guy crisply hitting shots, making beautiful passes, kicking ass. I don't care if it's against Sudan. I don't care if it's against Puerto Rico. I don't care. First of all, the games have been very entertaining from a standpoint of, like, you see all the talents around the world all over the place. He's just kind of a fallout of that. And then you add on top of it the fact that he's maybe been Serbia's most impressive player, and that's not a slouch team. Talking to my guy Christos Saltas today, and Christos was like, dude, he didn't say dude, but he said best player on the team. He's the best player on Serbia, which, you know, normally the best player would be Nikola Jokic. But Jovic, dude, I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to just ignore this? And I will say, one thing that pissed me off today with looking up the highlights today on old Tubski over here, I looked it up, and I was like, all right, cool, let me see what Jovic did, because the game was on at 4 in the morning. I'm not staying up for that. That's insane. And I get there, and it's like nothing but Bogdanovic highlights. And I'm like, hey, and he had like, they only put in their little 4-minute reel, one step back. I'm like, well, what did he do? And so like I was like, oh, he must have had a quiet game. Looked it up, 25 points. I was like, what? He was the leading scorer for Serbia? Why was he not in more highlights? Then I see on Twitter that he was perfect from the field and a perfect 5 for 5 from downtown, and for the second straight game got Serbia's player of the game. 20 years old. 20 years old. This kid is going out there and putting up performances like this. And I'm just supposed to, what? I'm just supposed to put my head in the sand? I'm supposed to ignore this? I'm supposed to just say, yeah, we just got to move on. Because, look, man, his height, his shot, man, his shot's been good. You got to give a shout out to the Heat's coaching staff and to Jovic for the work that he's put in. But like, you think about, I'm telling you, they put this kid through some stuff during warmups this year. They put him in like competitive actions and sequences that they want him to. Like, his workouts before games were more intense than everybody else's. And everything is turned into a game and a challenge within the warmups and the workouts, particularly for the guys who aren't going to play, and particularly for him. They treated him differently from the way they treated other guys, at least before games, when we could see. It's like they treated him almost like this project. And I got to tell you, you know, you guys can make fun of me and you can look at me and you're like, Tobin, you read too much into everything. And I don't even know if I could deny that. However, it is very interesting to me how much the Heat are promoting him on social media. It is very interesting to me a lunch that he has with Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra talks about, you know, how perfect a summer this is for Nikola Jovic and what he can learn from it, and that they get together and that they're gathering and that he's there and he's seeing this before his very eyes, and he's lighting this puppy up. He's lighting this puppy up from down. And by the way, I didn't think he was going to be this nasty a shooter out of the gate. You know, honestly, the thing I was most impressed with, and Spo talked about this this year, but the thing I was most impressed with Jovic this year was his passing. Like, he, boom, came into this thing and was like already bing, 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 throwing it all over the place and finding his guys and trying to get his teammates involved. We saw that very much in Summer League, right? Then we're starting to see him get on the break. He's starting to get guys going full court bounce passes, getting his team involved, moving with the ball in his hands. We know he's got that huge span that he can cover with his step there, going to the rim. But the confidence that he has with that shot, my God, it's breathtaking. It's breathtaking. And so I'm left at this village, this village of a crossroads, if you will, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, because if you told me, Tobin, you can have Damian Lillard for Jovic right now, there'll be a devil on my shoulder that has a harpoon and a whale. The devil is riding a whale. And I'll say, just trade him. You know you want Damian Lillard. You whale floozy. You know what you want. That'd be tempting. But then there'll be a little Heat culture angel. Don't do it. You know you want him. See how this project falls through. And he looks like the perfect front court partner next to Bam. And I'm like, damn it. Conflicted. I don't know what to do. Christos was on the show today. You guys go check that out on the QAM page and see what my guy had to say from SDNA Greece. That dude, by the way, boots on the ground, and I cannot thank him enough, because he came on at 12:30 Manila time and broke it all down for us. Told us, talked some Spo, talked some Jovic with us, but he's like, I'm not trading him for Dame. I'm not trading him for Dame. And he's like, the only guy I'd trade him for is Anthony Edwards. And he's like, I don't even think young Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards in a couple years in his prime, I would trade Jovic for. And maybe that's crazy. Maybe we're all sitting here, we're crazy. We've been waiting for trades forever, right? But to me, this one is a conundrum, because, you know, he's still, it's not only that you're tantalized by the talent. And I do think the Heat can see this stuff. You know, I think they can see this stuff early. But it's also like, look, he's cheap right now too. Like, you don't have to give Jovic a monster until a couple of years from now. But the Heat know this stuff early. They do, and they get attracted to this stuff early. I remember Bam Adebayo. I was sitting, I would ask guys about Bam, and I always had people always say, oh, why do you like Bam so much? I always had a big affinity for Bam because people went crazy when they drafted Bam, and they were like, this is a terrible pick. Why did they take Bam? We have Whiteside. Doesn't make any sense. And I have family who's rabid Kentucky fans, and they're like telling me, you got one in Bam, right? And then I had another buddy, monster college basketball fan. He was like, oh, you're going to love Bam. I was like, all right. So what am I getting crazy about? And I was excited for that. But then, so Bam was kind of like the guy I would follow when he was a rookie. He didn't play all the time. You know, he was a role player. He was not a starting player. But whenever he did, we got really excited on the radio show. And then I remember interviewing D Wade. I remember asking UD. I remember them saying, like, just speaking so highly of the kid, you know, at 19. And then I remember talking to you, Alonzo Mourning. And Alonzo was like, we're going to raise this kid's jersey to the rafters. He's going to lead us one day. So why do I tell you that story? I tell you that story because I think that the Heat know who the guys are going to be from a young age, you know? I think like a guy like Precious, right? Why were they so open to getting rid of Precious at his age? I think that they didn't. And I know Precious came in with rough circumstances because he came in a COVID year and not a true training camp. So I'm not blaming completely Precious for this. And I like Precious Achiuwa, by the way. Precious Achiuwa, by the way, who kicks. And also, I say, by the way, Precious, who kicks the Heat's ass a lot of the times when he plays them. What did he have? Didn't he have like 20 rebounds against the Heat this year? But I do think that balls to the wallness that the Heat like from their backup bigs, he didn't play with. And even Nick Nurse, before the Heat game this year, was like, he's got to play with this crazy, an intense energy more often. And sure enough, he had this monster rebound game against the Heat. But there was that element of Heat culture, if you will, that I don't think Precious was bringing to the table, but you obviously could see the athleticism and the intrigue with him, right? I'm wondering, seeing from the Heat all of the social media love, all of the posts with Spo, and I'm wondering if they could see this stuff from Jovic really early. You know, the way Adam Simon talked about him at the post-draft press conference, the way that all this stuff is going. I wonder if they already kind of know with him that he's one of them. I wonder. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I'm just curious about it because I remember how early they knew it with Bam. And I wonder if they look at Nikola and they think that he could be one of their guys. And holy crap, what he's doing on the court is really, really impressive. And I do wonder, I'm like, man, is this getting to off the table mode where they're not going to be about trading him anymore? It's because I got to tell you, the more the days go by, the more I watch this kid play, the more I'm like, I don't know if I want to give this kid up. I don't know if I want to give this kid up. He seems like he's too damn good. Too damn good to do it, dude. Jovic, my God.